let's look at some of these numbers, because a lot of folks are, again, last weekend we went through what's happening from a 30,000 foot view, right? How does that impact us here in Charleston? So if we look at, and I'm just going to read off some of these stats to kind of give you guys an idea of where we are right now. And it's going to look very encouraging for sellers and a little disheartening for buyers, if I'm being completely honest. But like I said, it is what it is. A lot of what I do it revolves around the idea that I think people want the truth. People want to be talked to with confidence. They don't want me to beat around the bush with them. That's not what I do. That's not how we consult our clients. We're matter of fact. We're here to help you win. And when we look at market stats, given the understanding, of course, that when we've been in the top 1% of agents here for the past 12 years, we have a very strong ear to the ground. We are very plugged in with trends here locally, but we also understand how those trends are impacted both regionally and from national news, and then really what's happening behind the scenes economically, which is why we went through everything we went through last weekend. So if you look at new listings, because the story that everybody shares right now is that there's a shortage of inventory. And if you think about it, there's really not. And what I mean by that is that, year to date, we've put 8,800 homes on the market in Charleston. This time last year, we had 8,400 properties hit the market. So new listings are actually up 5%. So that in and of itself is inventory. If you look at what we're putting under contract, by the end of April, we put 9,000 properties under contract. In April of 2020, we put 6,500 homes under contract. That's up almost 40% from 2020. So obviously the excessive demand curve is really the story, right? There's plenty of things to buy. We're just buying them very, very fast and very, at prices that for a lot of folks are kind of causing them to scratch their head saying, wow, really? It went for that much? Maybe I should think about selling my house. We've got all these folks that over the past several years have realized that maybe this isn't, my forever home. This is not necessarily where I want to be long term. And now, at least for the past few years at least, we have had access to cheap money. The big difference between now and where we were, 13 or so years ago, right before the crash, was that we had access to really easy money. I mean, you could literally tell a bank how much money you made, stated income, stated asset, no documentation loans if you were willing to pay a little bit more interest, and you could get a mortgage. And so, yes, there was predatory lending, and yes, there were a lot of things that were happening then that are not happening now, but we have access to cheap money. So a lot of folks are saying, well, I might as well do something now, which is why you're seeing this huge influx in sales. And we've had 32% more closings this year than we did last year. We've sold 7,400 homes. By this time last year, we had 5,600 homes that we had sold. And they're selling in almost half the time. This time last year, it was about 60 days average on market, which we've been at for years. And I mean several years. Now it's at 34 days. And that's the average. But here's the interesting thing. Here's what's going on with the median sales price. The median sales price year to date is up 15%. If you look at just April, if you look at April of 2021, the median sales price was $344,000. April of 2020, it was $290,000. That's up 19%. I mean, that's just an incredible amount of appreciation. And like I was saying earlier, let's say that you purchased a property and you put 3.5% down. Yes, you've had appreciation that's occurred over the past several years, but if you get behind on your payments, or if you do a forbearance and it's just a delay in having to make all those payments up at once, but you don't have the ability to financially, then really you don't actually have equity when you consider how much it costs to sell a property and closing costs and commission and so on and so forth. And so that's what I think is going to be the key here is, when are these things going to expire? Right? When is the music going to stop playing, so to speak? Those forbearances are going to turn into sales or short sales or loan modifications. And loan modifications historically have a redefault rate of 65%. So we're going to see some inventory, and I think a good portion of it's going to be distressed here in the next, I'm not going to say timeframes, but my guess would be sometime in the next 12 to 18 months. It's just how things are kind of trending right now. And if you look at how much properties are getting when they hit the market, the market average right now is 98.6%. That's what you're going to get of your list price. This time last year, it was 96.5%. We've kind of been bouncing around the 95, 96 number for years. But obviously now in a more competitive market, you have to pay more. I would say that, again, these are averages. But for homes that are priced well, that are in good condition, that are in hot areas, they are absolutely selling for more than asking price. In other words, as a buyer, in most instances, it's really not good enough to just pay what they're asking because someone else is going to pay more. It's just a matter of how much do you want the house? Does it make sense? How much more can we go and still have this deal make sense financially? Because let's be honest, no buyer out there wants to pay a seller more than what they're asking. That's just like, a lot of people hear that and they cringe. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Would be for me too. But we need to approach it with an open mind, and we need to be realistic about your finances, how long you're going to stay in the property, the affordability of that home, what your interest rate is, all those great things. And so if you look at, at the end of the day, the total number of homes available for sale at any given point in time, not talking about new listings, because we already know that, based on these stats, we've actually put more homes on the market this year than we did last year. We put 5% more homes on the market. It's just that we've put almost 40% more under contract. So when you look at the inventory of homes for sale, this time last year, we had about 5,500 properties available for sale. At the end of April, we had 1,500. It's down almost 75%. In fact, if you look at the MLS today, it kind of bounces around from day to day and obviously throughout different times of each day as new listings hit the market every day. But we're around 1,300 and 1,400 properties available for sale right now. It's an extremely challenging market to find property and then not feel rushed. And so for a lot of these buyers out there, especially when we work with them, you've got a few major things at play here. Number one is being first, meaning when a property hits the market, we need to inform you quickly of that new opportunity. If you're just searching around on your own, by the time it makes its way to you on whatever public site you're looking at, there's already been interest that's been gathered on that property, but before you've had a chance to even see it. And that's because the MLS beats all the other websites in terms of availability. I mean, the MLS is the source of the information. So just by working with a real estate agent that gives you access to that, you get a leg up on the competition that are not using real estate agents, that are kind of searching around on their own. But I think where a lot of people are really winning is when they work with somebody that is tuned into opportunity in the market. In other words, we spend a ton of our time and a ton of our energy and resources and human capital in talking to people. We have 10,000 conversations a week with people. I kid you not. A lot of that results in, yeah, I'd like to buy if I could find this. Or, yeah, I would sell if somebody were to make me this offer, but I would have to find something like this to buy. The more conversations you have, and if you get really good at organizing that data, the better chance you have of playing that role of matchmaker. The problem is so many agents don't want to do that because they've not had to. They've been able to just kind of hit the autopilot button, which is, hey, let me set you up with a search. And each time you see a property that you like, just let me know. We'll schedule a time. We'll go and look at it. If you want to buy it, we'll construct an offer and we'll help you buy it. That approach is just not going to work right now. There are too many people that are moving too quickly on property. So you need to be first for all the stuff that's publicly available, but you also need to be tapped in with somebody that can find you things that are not publicly available. We call it shadow inventory, off-market properties. All those folks out there that would sell if we could find them something to buy. Or that would sell, but you know what? I just don't want to have my property on the market right now. I don't want to deal with having 30 people come in my home in a 48-hour stretch of time. Is there anybody you have that just wants to buy it? If you do, then yeah, I'll sell it. And so again, the more conversations you have and the better you as a real estate agent are at organizing that type of database. And then you have the functionality, the ability to search through it and say, all right, I just talked to this person. This is what they're looking to buy. Who have I spoken to that would be interested in selling something like that? And so that's one step. And the other step is, okay, well, if this is you want to buy, then I can use tax data, public data. I can use predictive analytics, and I can find not just properties that fit your criteria, but based on all the behavioral analytics we have, we can determine who is displaying behavior online that leads us to believe they're getting ready to make a move. And I know for some people, and I've had people tell me this, that kind of freaks them out a little bit. But the reality is it happens. It happens with all different kinds of industries. You just don't really know it because we're a little desensitized to it. But why not use that as an option for our industry, for real estate? I mean, we literally have the ability to find the people that own homes similar to what you want to buy just from a search parameter perspective. But then we can take it a step further and we can say, of all these homes that have an initial match to your criteria, these are the people that are already doing things behind the scenes in preparation of a move. So it's one thing to just pull a list from tax data and say, well, here are all the 3-bed, 2-bath homes in Mount Pleasant. There's going to be a lot of them. But here are the homes that are here are the homeowners that are displaying behaviors online that lead us to believe they're getting ready to make a move. We're going to call them first. And that's what a lot of our team does is we go into the market proactively and find opportunity for you if we haven't had a conversation with somebody like that in the past already. So if that's something you'd like to learn more about, if you'd like to, I kind of hate to say, get on the list because that just sounds so unpersonal. But if you're in that position where, I would sell my home, I would buy another. I'm so disappointed and disheartened at what's out there that it doesn't really seem like it's going to happen. I'm telling you, we're making it happen. There are ways to make it happen. And we're going to put in the time and the energy and the effort to help you as best we can. We just need to know what you're looking for. So if that's you, if you're in that position, feel free to give us a call and let's see if we can go to work and let's see if we have something that might work well for you right now. My number is 843-400-8009, 843-400-8009, or you can check us out online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Stick around for the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Visit Brian Beatty's website at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.